All right, let's get more of your reaction. Been hearing it all morning long about the news overnight of Chicago being the recipient of around 60 undocumented migrants being bused from Texas. This happening overnight. Texas's governor said that 60 people put onto a bus from Texas after crossing the U.S. border illegally. And he's now put Chicago on his bus stop list for undocumented migrants that are flooding his border communities in Texas. So around 10,000 undocumented migrants have been bused from Texas to places like New York City or to places like Washington, D.C. Well, now third on that list, Texas Governor Greg Abbott says, is the Windy City, Chicago. So Chicago getting at about 8 o'clock last night, about 60 undocumented migrants, ranging from, young men, middle-aged men, to even those who had children with them. And these are individuals who crossed the border illegally. I want to hear your thoughts and been hearing your thoughts all morning long at 217-629-7970. Again, 217-629-7970. That's the phone number. Let's now hear from, again, Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot last night as the bus was coming up and 60 migrants were on it, and they were transferred to city buses to go elsewhere to get whatever kinds of services are going to be available, food, shelter. Keep in mind the state of Illinois allows for driver's licenses for undocumented migrants. We also have taxpayer-subsidized health care for individuals. I think it's 42 and up who can have access to health care if they make under a certain income threshold. Plus, it's just a variety of other nonprofit organizations in Chicago there to welcome the migrants. But while Chicago is a, quote, welcoming city or a sanctuary city, as we've heard debated about for years, a city that is not going to go after undocumented migrants, and the state of Illinois itself taking a variety of different policies that don't go after undocumented migrants, including, if you recall, the Trust Act, which prohibits local law enforcement from assisting federal immigration customs enforcement agents in pursuing detainers to go after undocumented migrants in the state of Illinois. We've also ended any state taxpayer-funded contracts for ICE detention facilities. So there's a whole host of things that the state set up saying, hey, we're a welcoming state. You can come here if you're undocumented. Don't worry about law enforcement. But Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot last night seeming to take a little bit of a different tone. While she still says that Chicago is a welcoming city and they're going to treat people with dignity, she seemed to have a little bit of an angry tone towards Greg Abbott for doing what Abbott's been doing for the past few months now, sending people from flooded border communities in Texas to cities that say that they are welcoming cities. Here is Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot.
A mix of folks from Latin America, bused here inhumanely from Texas. But what I want to say is this. Our city is prepared. We are a welcoming city. And what we've seen is a tremendous outpouring, not only from city government, but also a number of different not-for-profits that are part of our network of care. I want to thank, first and foremost, the Salvation Army. We could not do this work without them. They've been incredibly generous of their time and their resources. I want to thank the Resurrection Project. I want to thank the Hannah Group. There's so many others that I am sure I will neglect to mention. But what we see here is who we are as Chicagoans. When we have people come to our city, no matter their country of origin, no matter their circumstances, we all rally together and we stand tall. That's what we have done. That's what we will do. But let me also say this. Shame on Governor Abbott. What he is doing is immoral, unpatriotic, and it defies the values of who we are as Americans. We can disagree on policy and politics, but you don't treat people this way. But we will, no matter, stand up. But shame on him. He brings a stain upon our nation This absolutely cannot continue. We've got to rally together in these times, help these people that are in need. We shouldn't be in a situation where families are thrown on buses with babies, pregnant women, people who are in need of medical care on an uncertain journey across our country. But in Chicago, we are ready, we are prepared, and we will make sure that none of these folks are left in a lurch. But there's got to be a better way.
And Texas Governor Greg Abbott says the better way is to secure the border and to not have the border be open, as he says President Joe Biden has allowed the border to be. All right, full phone lines here, 217-629-7970. Good morning.
What's up, Greg?
Hey.
Hell, they could send them back to Springfield. They could stay in the governor's mansion.
Well, yeah, I don't know if the governor's there right now. I don't know how
sure
often he is, but...
Well, here's my thing. You know, they want to complain about what Texas is doing. This awful, it's cruel, it's rude. I would drop them all off at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and say, here you go. These are what you've allowed to happen, these people, so you deal with them.
Abbott's already done that to a degree. He has shipped 10,000 undocumented migrants to either Washington, D.C. or New York City. And even Washington, D.C., their mayor complained about it, saying they don't have the resources for it, even though they said that they're a sanctuary city. New York City and the New York governor critical of Texas for doing this as well, even though New York City has said that they're a welcoming city. So interesting to see the dynamic there.
It's only welcoming when it's convenient for them to tell other states to have to do it. Then when they have to deal with it, they can't handle it. I'm glad he's doing it, and I don't think he's giving them a bus ride. He's not punishing them.
And apparently it's voluntary, and it's not something that people are, quote, being thrown onto the bus, as Lightfoot said. All right, good morning. You're on WMAY. Thanks for holding.
First of all, these people aren't migrants. They're illegal alien criminals. They're breaking the law. Two, I applaud the governor of the state of Texas. Those deadheads up there in Chicago want these people, those liberals want these people so bad. Let them deal with it. Let Chicago deal with it. Don't we in Illinois shouldn't have to.
Well, we are a state that's losing population, so I don't know if this is an effort to regain that population, but we shall see. Good morning. You're on WMAY. You would have been. All right, let's go to this call. Phone lines lighten up. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Morning, Greg.
Hey,
so all these states like Illinois, New York, and all of them, they basically want to throw and say, basically they're great game. But sure, whenever push comes to don't want any. Do as I say, not as I do. Texas should be this welcoming state, but heaven forbid that Texas gets just flooded with people that they can't handle, and then they need help. We all want to say, oh, we're willing to give a hand until it's actually needed. And, Texas is needing help with all the people that are coming in. I don't know if you
remember the images that were shown just a handful of weeks ago of undocumented migrants crossing the border illegally and setting up like a temporary camp underneath an overpass. And it was hundreds and hundreds of people all collected together that had come across the border illegally. That's a regular occurrence in Texas and other border states. Texas Governor Greg Abbott seeming to say he's had enough, and his communities can't handle the flood of migrants.
And then it was a great, picture opportunity for AOC or whatever. But of course they all want to be like, oh, these poor people and all that. But as soon as Texas sends them to where they can actually get help, to where they can get what they actually need, no, we don't want to deal with that now. So again, it's a classic left-wing tactic. Do as I say, not as I do. We want to help these people, but I really can't. Sorry.
Yeah, and I think they're going to get the help they need. There's no question. And Texas is helping people, and they only have so many resources, but they can't handle their share of what is estimated to be 4 million people who've crossed the border illegally. I think since the Biden administration took over. And there's a whole host of other questions that still remain on all of this. We'll be watching it closely for you. But apparently you can expect to see more as the Texas governor has bussed 10,000 undocumented migrants to Washington, D.C., and also to New York City. And now Chicago is the third city that Abbott has put on his list, with the first bus of 60 migrants arriving overnight last night in Chicago. Let's take one last call here in this segment. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
You know, if I remember correctly, sometime in the recent past, Texas asked for some help from National Guard fleets, and I believe Illinois refused to send any assistance.
I think you're right, yeah.
So now, you know, that's fine. I say ship them. I mean, if there's people that are crossing the border illegally, once they get processed in Texas, if they want to go to Chicago, put them on a bus. Send them let deal with them up there.
Yeah, and the Chicago Sun-Times, having talked to several of the undocumented migrants, one indicated that they wanted to go to New York because people there speak Spanish more. But when they heard Chicago was an option, they jumped on that bus. Another one said that they're not going to necessarily stay in Chicago. They're looking to get connected with their friend in Louisville, Kentucky. So it's apparent that Chicago's not their final destination. Where else are they going to end up? And are they going to go through the proper channels of becoming a naturalized citizen? Or will they continue to skirt the law and game the country's immigration networks? It is Springfield's Morning News.